And so I'll leave it there. I mean, I'm just obviously disheartened. I'm a human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. And so all I'll say is just...
According to reports, the meeting room doors at the WNBA offices were securely secured. Additionally, the atmosphere within was desperate rather than merely anxious. This meeting was not called by WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert to discuss regular schedule adjustments or quarterly profits. Insiders are characterizing this all-hands-on-deck scenario as a desperate effort to preserve the league's narrative before it entirely goes out of control. This unexpected concern was caused by an impending statement from NBC that has the potential to radically upend the women's basketball hierarchy rather than a controversy involving a failed drug test or a legal problem. Referees have been holding back their whistles as rookies get pummeling in the paint, while veterans have been making fun of the new face of the game for months. However, the corporate rulers have finally had enough. The WNBA is about to receive billions of dollars from NBC and other media behemoths, but there are rumors that their investment has very precise conditions, and Caitlin Clark has a direct connection to those threads. The emergency meeting was about a hostile takeover of the league's culture, not only basketball, and what transpired behind closed doors will permanently alter the sport. However, you need to look at what NBC just presented in order to comprehend why the commissioner is perspiring. This was not only a broadcast partner's kind recommendation. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 83% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So, did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now, back to the video. This was a power play that made everyone aware of who is really responsible for paying the expenses. According to sources, NBC execs have been following the current season with a combination of enthusiasm about the numbers and complete dismay at the way the program is being run. You anticipate having your star asset highlighted rather than headhunted when you write such a large check. According to rumors circulating across the league, NBC made it very clear that the Caitlin Clark phenomena is at the core of their broadcasting strategy. The everyone gets a trophy participation mentality that has dogged the league's marketing for years does not appeal to them. The Michael Jordan treatment is what they want. They want the narrative simplified, the stars safeguarded, and the narrative concentrated. According to reports, the meeting's emergency component resulted from an ultimatum. The network will intervene and publicly set the rules, or the league will put an end to internal sabotage of its main attraction. For a league that has taken great pleasure in teamwork, this is a hard reality check. But commercial travel is no longer an option, and those who pay for the charter flights want to ensure that the jet arrives where the money is. The commissioner's untenable position is the reason this scenario is so unstable. Right now, Cathy Engelbert is balancing 2 antagonistic forces that despise one another on a razor's edge. The millionaire executives from NBC, Amazon, and Disney, who see Caitlin Clark as the harvest and the WNBA as a content farm, are on one side of her. Conversely, she has a locker room culture and a players' union that strongly oppose the notion that one player is greater than the shield. There are rumors that Cathy Engelbert had to break the terrible news to the WNBA's elderly guard at this private meeting. The messages. Honesty was probably harsh. The world's sudden appreciation of the game's principles is not the reason for the increased attention, pay increases, and exposure. They are occurring as a result of a single popularity lightning strike. Admitting that a rookie rescued the league is a tough pill to take for veterans who have been working for 10 years with no acknowledgement. So, the tension in that meeting must have been thick enough to cut with a knife. However, the networks do not give a damn about dues. Ad income is important to them. Additionally, the data currently indicates that viewers switch channels when number 22 is on the bench. However, when you consider the date of this intervention, the plot becomes more complex. This urgent meeting follows the dispute around the basketball roster. Many people think that this choice marked the beginning of the conflict between the league's coaches and the networks. Recall that NBC airs the basketball games. The committee did more than simply offend the people when they chose to exclude the world's most popular female athlete off the roster. The network reportedly lost millions in possible advertising income as a result of them. There are rumors that this was the CEO's tipping point due to internal politics and basketball-related issues. They saw a sure ratings bonanza disappear. The never again summit was probably this emergency gathering. There are rumors that the new contracts will include provisions that prohibit future instances of self-sabotage. The league must play the big talents if it hopes to make a lot of money. A pure sporting perspective collides with a brutal business philosophy. Additionally, the team with a checkbook often prevails. There are rumors circulating that Cathy Engelbert had to pledge that the league would cease attempting to dehumanize Caitlin Clark and instead try to take advantage of her, even if doing so would damage the egos of all the other players in the organization. This takes us to the unsaid matter that was most likely discussed in private at the meeting: the officiating. A player who gets clotheslined every time she drives to the basket while the officials turn a blind. I cannot be the center of a billion-dollar business. A rising conspiracy idea among supporters, and perhaps now sponsors as well, is that the league has been permitting undue violence toward Caitlin Clark in order to make a statement. It is the welcome to the W mindset, but it seems to be poor product management to a casual viewer and, more significantly, to a network executive. The ratings plummet and investment plummets if a veteran chooses to send a message by injuring your top player. A mandate to clean up the game was probably part of the emergency meeting. This is about protecting assets, not about manipulating games. The NBA did this for LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Michael Jordan. For years, the WNBA has opposed this eccentric officiating, maintaining a tough physical character, but NBC is not rewarding grit. 4. Highlights they are paying. There are rumors that the way the games are called is going to change significantly, and players who do not adjust risk being foul out or punished to death. But the real gloomy part of this narrative is the participants' resistance. You must comprehend the psychology of the locker room. WNBA. Players have battled for crumbs for years, playing in hazardous environments abroad in order to support themselves. The money is finally coming in now, but it seems like one individual is getting all the credit. You can feel the bitterness. There were probably worries about a possible revolt during the meeting. What would happen if the other celebrities declined to take part in the NBC advertisements? What would happen if the Caitlin Clark squad experienced social and cultural isolation from the rest of the league? Rumor has it that athletes have secretly messaged reporters in an attempt to fabricate stories about Caitlin Clark's overvaluation or the poisonous nature of her fan base. Before this domestic battle spreads to the court and harms the brand, Cathy Engelbert must control it. This meeting's emergency portion focused on containment. Veterans must embrace the new reality and smile for the cameras. But egos are brittle. The players might rebel if the league pushes the NBC agenda too hard, which would be a PR disaster that charges the league of favoritism and insulting the game's founders. Since money is the main focus of this, let us examine it in more detail. The WNBA's worth has increased dramatically. Yet this is a bubble based on a single demographic change. There is a Caitlin Clark economy. In some measurements, the Indiana Fever's ticket sales are surpassing those of the whole league. Opposing teams relocate their games to larger venues when the Indiana Fever visit. The proprietors are aware of this. They are not foolish. However, the incentives used by general managers and coaches are different. Sometimes they have to play tough or concentrate on defense in order to win games. There has never been a greater gap between the business side, the owners and commissioner, and the basketball side, the coaches and players. This conference was an effort to use force to close that gap. It is possible that the message sent was that business imperatives must now take precedence over basketball considerations. The coach cannot choose to rest Caitlin Clark that evening in order to manage her workload if NBC requests a prime time slot for her without a valid medical cause. The requirements of the media agreement are limiting the independence of the basketball operations crew. Efficiency brutally eradicates romanticism while attempting to transform a league from a niche interest to a worldwide superpower. But it is a harsh pill regarding the particular NBC statement.
Described.
There is also a darker, more speculative perspective. According to some sources, NBC is preparing a documentary-style series that will track the league, much like Drive to Survive for Formula One, but with a strong emphasis on the rookies. If this is accurate, the veterans' terror makes sense. They are aware that the story is under the control of the editor. The veterans' reputation as the antagonists in their own league is cemented if the cameras are following Caitlin Clark and Engelbert, and they are shown as the villains or as obstacles for the rising stars to overcome. The Players Association may have used the emergency meeting as a platform to express their worries about this possibility. To Caitlin Clark's Harlem Globetrotters, they do not want to be the Washington Generals.
They want respect.
However, the cruel truth of sports entertainment and reality TV is that conflict sells. NBC is aware that the tale of the Queen versus the Rookie is more compelling than that of everyone getting along. The commissioner's job is to persuade the players that it is more lucrative to play the villain than the victim. However, competitive athletes who feel mistreated find it difficult to accept that. We must also discuss the silence. Have you noticed how cautious the recent official comments have been? The league's PR apparatus tightened its grip after the first round of jealous remarks early in the season. This emergency meeting probably reaffirmed a type of gag order, which may not be legally binding, but strongly implies that disparaging remarks about the league's cash cow would not be accepted. The bosses are aware that every time a player disparages the attention Caitlin Clark is receiving on a podcast, it alienates the millions of new listeners. NBC is aiming for those new fans. They switch off the TV if they watch and think the league despises the player they came to see. This is a retention game. As the commissioner is aware, the lightning struck them.
They
must now keep it in the bottle. The purpose of the gathering was to synchronize the messaging. You do not have to like Caitlin Clark, but you cannot openly undermine the product she stands for. Players who have taken pleasure in being vocal and self-reliant are having a corporate leash tightened around their necks. In all of this, what about Caitlin Clark herself? She has maintained her composure, acting like the ideal corporate soldier and saying the correct things. However, she is under tremendous strain. Her aim is higher than anything we have seen in sports in a long time because NBC is putting the house on her success. The plan crumbles if she fails or sustains an injury. In essence, this meeting was a risk assessment. The wolves are surrounding the league because it is placing all of its eggs in one basket. Building a fence around it is the commissioner's responsibility. Shorter shot timers, more stringent foul calls, prohibitions on improper defense, and other measures to clear up the floor and allow shooters to shoot might all be part of the off-season rule revisions. The accountants will mumble that it is preserving the franchise's future, while purists will yell that it is destroying the game's integrity. This emergency conference represented the cocoon stage of the WNBA's transformation. Ugly, disorganized, and hidden from view, but essential to the emergence of the new shape. We also need to examine the purported NBC provision pertaining to marketing responsibilities. According to rumors, the new media agreement calls for a certain amount of promotional material from the league's best players. Until you realize that it establishes a hierarchy, this appears normal. The other 143 participants will compete for the remaining ad time if the network requires that Caitlin Clark get 50% of it. The agents of Breanna Stewart and Anya Wilson, two other elite players, are probably enraged. They see that the marketing materials for a rookie ignore their clientele, who are presently undoubtedly superior basketball players. This equity problem had to be discussed in the emergency meeting. When the spotlight is only focused on the rookie, how do you keep the MVP satisfied? With revenue sharing, Cathy Engelbert probably had to reassure the veterans that even if their names are not on the billboard, the money from it goes toward their pension fund. It is a deal exchanging celebrity for wealth. However, celebrity is the most important commodity for egocentric sportsmen. This encounter has ramifications that go beyond this season. The WNBA's business operations are about to undergo a significant change. The NBA funded the WNBA for many years. Many financial experts saw it as a charity case.
The
WNBA now has a route to profitability thanks to the NBC contract and the Caitlin Clark boost. However, that route necessitates adopting the celebrity model and giving up the sisterhood concept. The impromptu gathering served as the former WNBA's funeral. The days of everyone flying coach and staying in subpar motel are coming to an end. With the help of large TV contracts and luxury planes, a new league is emerging. However, the labor pangs are unbearable. Kicking and screaming into this new age are the athletes who are holding on to the old methods. The atmosphere and the history do not matter to NBC. The broadcast's cue rating is important to them. As the transition manager, the commissioner's emergency meeting served as a kind of warning. Join the team or risk falling behind. Consider the long-term consequences of the proposed officiating modifications. The scouting reports will alter if the league becomes more accommodating in order to shield Caitlin Clark. Faster, more proficient shooters who suit the T-friendly look may eventually replace the large burly enforcers who earned a career in the paint. Every squad will have a different roster composition. There is more than one player involved. It concerns the development of the metag game. This probably came up during the meeting. It is likely that general managers were instructed to begin searching for players that fit the new WNBA. Fast-paced, high-scoring, and marketable. The days of using grinded-out defense to win a game 60-55 are over since that. Score kills ratings. 90-85 is what NBC wants. Buzzer beaters are what they desire. Drama is what they want. The commissioner is aware that money departs if the product is uninteresting. She must thus create excitement even if it seems fake to purists. The villain arc is another component. Antagonists are necessary if the league adopts the drama, as NBC probably want. The rivalries may have been fostered by the emergency conference, but only under strict constraints. It is the sporting equivalent of the WWE. You need the heels, the bitter veterans, and the face. Caitlin Clark. The risk arises when the screenplay becomes very realistic and the harsh fouls become attacks. The purpose of the discussion was probably to define the boundary between a successful TV drama and a disastrous PR campaign. They do not want the litigation, but they do want the publicity. It is a delicate
dance.
It was essential to put an end to the rumors that players or bounties were deliberately targeting Caitlin Clark. Cathy Engelbert had to look the coaches in the eye and warn them that the punishment would be historic if anybody was found purposefully attempting to harm the golden goose.
A
martyr is not something the league can afford. Lastly, we need to think about what comes next. There will be an announcement from NBC soon. We shall witness the outcomes of this meeting in real time as it drops. Observe the officiating for the next games. Keep an eye on the marketing launches. You will know precisely who prevailed behind those closed doors if you see an abrupt change in tone, an abrupt cleaning of the physical play, and a significant push of Caitlin Clark-centric material. The pivotal moment was the emergency meeting. The WNBA is no longer a communal endeavor. It is large business, and in big company, the decision-makers are the stockholders. Although the players may control the court, NBC now controls the league. They are bargaining for peanuts without Caitlin Clark, which is an unpleasant reality that everyone in that room had to acknowledge. They are negotiating millions with her. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert made an easy decision, but the culture suffered as a result. NBC is making sure the camera is aimed just where they want it to be when the revolution is shown on television. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe and enable all notifications so you don't miss anything. We'll see you in the next one after you click the video on the screen.